Starting the day with Conchas today. This is a product I'd like to get on the menu in the next couple months. Getting some assistance from our resident Mexican baker, Carlos. He actually spent a lot of time, a couple years, working in a bakery in Mexico making conchas, so he knows what he's looking for. Ours are a little different as per usual. Sourdough, namely, is a big difference. And then additionally, we are building these as vegan conchas. So a lot of times this topping entails stuff like vegetable shortening. We're opting for avocado oil and coconut oil as the fat, and the base is our brand new vegan bun that we made a couple months ago. It's based on our sweet starter. Really an excellent overall product for us that has made for great burgers all summer. Now we're trying to build off of that base, which we think has a lot of potential. There's no vegan pastry on our menu right now, but there's plenty of vegan breads that are just flour, water, salt. So, you know, we've definitely got a following of hundreds, if not thousands, of vegan customers around the valley. So this would give them something sweet to enjoy. And of course, like, you don't have to be vegan to enjoy this product. It just happens to be one that will be all plant-based. So I'm a couple trials in by this point, and mostly we are just trying to prove the topping process. So the rest of it's worked out, and hopefully will continue to, but the topping in my initial trials was not quite right, and so hopefully today we'll get a little closer. This chocolate variation of the topping that I mixed earlier seems to be the right consistency. It's Carlos approved. The vanilla topping that I have, I think we're going to have to tighten it up just a little bit. I overshot. The last one was too dry. This one's a little too wet, so see if we can add equal parts powdered sugar and flour to it to stiffen it up just a little. I think I only want 12 of these. Already overshot here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so now I'm just gonna make these into rounds. I also don't know yet if the topping should contain a little bit of baking powder or not. It's an optional ingredient, adds a little lift, a little crackle to the topping itself. This one is sans baking powder. Around the space here, we've created a bit of an R&D kitchen that I always wanted in this backspace. Finally, have a small mixer now and a tabletop sheeter, and we brought over, well, borrowing the smallest mixer today from our house kitchen setting. Need to get one for this space still. And we have the smallest one that's been, I guess you could say it's our original mixer. It didn't do any dough mixing in the garage, but it's been with us since the beginning. First mixer I ever bought, and realized, oh, can't really mix bread dough in a 20 quart effectively. Continued to hand mix for almost a year after acquiring that mixer. I'm gonna go get our first tray of conchas. I don't know yet if we're going to be able to bake them today or tomorrow. I am leaning towards tomorrow because these things just need an extended proofing time, and our sweet starter's been actually moving a little on the slower end the last few days, so my guess is that we're going to proof them and maybe even choose to refrigerate them towards the end. Carlos, you said that when balling these up, you often use flour on your hands?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it important to get kind of like a more perfect ball? All right, I'm gonna go grab the first tray of conchas. These are typically just our buns, our burger buns. They're vegan, made with a sweet starter. We scale them really small, just 70 grams, and they get a really long warm proof, about 20 hours warm. These have been proofing now for the majority of the day. After they're mixed yesterday, they were put in the walk-in at the end of the day. And so they have a long journey upward still. The final product is quite large usually. But this cold stage is great because there's still time for a full proof to happen, but there's activity in the dough already. So I'm gonna take these tops and basically pair them with, oh, you know what? Almost forgot. Before I get too eager, I'm gonna spray all of these. So spraying these down allows them to adhere, the topping to the dough that is. Totally different experience than my first trial. And actually, you can go back in the channel way back. I think it's been over a year since I started flirting with this idea of conchas, and see an initial trial built on our English muffin dough. I don't think that was ever meant to be, which is why we didn't really go forward with it. Much more promising now to build these off of this dough. It's really got the right texture and the right overall properties to make conchas. Okay, so now I'm gonna press, and this is really what I was missing before, this concha cutter. It's a special cutter. It's got two sides to it. So I'm gonna use this to also press down and score these. Wasn't the most successful first press. Got a little stuck. Do I need to put flour on this guy?
It would help, yeah, like having a little stack of flour and then like...
I went a little deep, it looks like.
Oh, see, this is where I didn't notice, but yeah, when we do them, we usually like flatten it out, like if you were doing like kind of like extending a pizza.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of like...
Oh, you're talking about the dough itself?
No, just the topping.
Yeah.
So you want to get it to like, kind of like that thick.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the topping should only weigh around like 25 to 30 grams.
Oh, so this is too much at 45.
Oh yeah, at 45 definitely, yeah.
All right, so I'm taking this topping off and, well, gonna have...
I don't know if you have it.
I have more, so...
Okay, yeah.
So that will be the other trial we run today, is a lot of topping versus a little bit. All right, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to prevent sticking here. Try spraying this. A little smoother. Ooh, that one stuck a lot. Seems like spraying in between is helping sticking. I didn't have as much issue with this portion with the topping I made last week, which was dry. So that could also be kind of a clue that I'm a little too on the oily side at the moment. Hard to say to be sure. That's part of the nice thing about R&D, is you have a space with which to work on this stuff. Committed to seeing this on the menu, regardless of what it takes. Getting a little better at this as we go. Okay, I want to redo this one. All right, so we got this tray done. Now I'm going to use Carlos' feedback. So I was going to play with this topping, which we still will for tomorrow's batch, and try to get this topping just right. But I'll go ahead and use up the rest of my chocolate topping that I have at a smaller amount, and I'll get a good test of, okay, what's the appropriate ratio of topping. So this is a 45 gram one. I'll write that down. You think 25 or 30?
25 to 30 is what we would do, because we would also do 70 grams for the actual dough.
Okay, so it's right on.
Yeah, it'd be like a total of like 100 grams.
Okay, you got the other tray. These are now living in the proofer, and they've got a long way to go in here. So we're gonna monitor them, give them time, and see what the right time to bake them off is. I guess we can go extreme on the other end. Well, we can go 50-50. Half 25, half 30, since it's trial batch, see what goes on. Apparently I can't even scale that small. That's 25, 6, So those are my 25s. Now I'll get the 30s. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the 30s. I think something very cool about sourdough in general is it connects to all cultures. Just being as old as it is, 13, 14,000 years old, there's hardly a culture on the planet that doesn't have some sort of a sourdough history or influence. And it's one of the things I really enjoy exploring as a baker, is just seeing how our products can connect to people's pasts and traditions, even pasts and traditions that are becoming more and more rare in this sort of modern world, creating a bit of a through line there. Okay, so I'm taking his advice of smashing, spraying these down for adherence. Just gonna notate, these are gonna be the 30s, maybe the 25s. Let's get the 30s on. And now back to the cutting action. So far so good. Carlos is letting me borrow this Concha cutter. If these things turn out well, we'll have to buy one. It's pretty cool, this thing. Just did 3 in a row there. All right, tray 2. Into the proofer with the others. And it's probably gonna live there for quite a while today. I think what my aim is to get them as far as we can today, then refrigerate overnight and bake in the morning is what I'm aiming for. We'll see how that all pans out. Let's check on these conchas. Where are you? Oh, here they are. All right, so they're still more or less seemingly where we left them. I plan on having them in here all day long today. They're going to go cold overnight, and hopefully they'll be in a great state to bake off in the morning. So really long process. I mean, the dough was mixed yesterday, already had a substantial proof, already went cold once. Now we're topping them, trying to get them to get to full volume. Then we'll slow it down, cold, then the final bake. I think it will work out really well, but we'll see. The conchas look decent for baking. One tray looks significantly better than the other, which is annoying. I just took them out of the cooler. They were proofed far less during the day, and at the very end of the day we put them in the cooler. I'm letting them warm up in here, and then we can fire them. Is this your main bake through here for pastry? What's coming after this, rather?
After this, yeah, but...
Okay, if you fire burger buns, I would like to put the conchas that I have in with them.
Okay.
I only have 2 trays,
Right.
so grab me if you're doing burger buns. Okay, we're gonna go with the conchas and the brioche rolls together. Should be similar baking parameters on both. You're getting a really good rise on everything, so nothing to complain about in this oven at the moment. On the concha bake, I've definitely noticed that it's important to be a little conservative, meaning you don't want to overdo it, otherwise the topping starts to darken too much. I'm gonna go ahead and stop so I can assess all these. I think they're all fully done at this point. We'll use a probe to verify that. Bake time would be a little longer if it was a full oven load, but it's 3 trays and a giant oven. Heat distribution's pretty effective. And honestly, I'm happy with the way that these conchas look. It's interesting, the ones that we scored, well, some definitely look a little nicer than others, but overall, hard to be too upset. Kind of crumbly in some places, but overall, really nice looking product. See how it tastes. So these were topped with 25 grams. These were 30. Both turned out nice. Then you go to the 45 and you've got too much. It's clear. You know, like it's kind of spilling over. It's not really contained. You're gonna end up with a concha plus like extra pieces on the bottom. So based on this result, I would say 30 is the way to go on the topping, without a doubt. 25 was still acceptable. There's really none on this tray that screamed to me, oh, this was awesome. they all look a little overdone on the topping to where it sort of takes away from the presentation of the product. I've already been snacking on these conchas. I took an ugly one, but look at how fluffy the inside of this bun is. The topping has a nice texture, so no need for the baking powder. Kept it simple. We know the 30 grams works. It's nice looking. It's a vegan product, which I think is one of the best parts about this is I can put this in the case and have something for a full range of customers. Got to get the vanilla topping down, so I think next week is where we get to like that 90% mark. Probably at the 80% mark now. Might tweak the topping just a little bit more, find the right balance. Got the process down though, and got the amount of topping down. So a lot to be happy with this trial. Now I just got to do the refinement to bring this product home. And enjoy a concha with some coffee. It's a nice specimen here with one of the 25 gram toppings. I think it's attractive to the eye, super soft bun. I think it's a great pairing with coffee in general. I could definitely see people doing this. The concha itself is unique because it's vegan in its assembly, so that's a really nice thing. And the coffee is no longer vegan, but I suppose you could do a plant-based milk and still satisfy that itch, but I think the pairing's really nice. Very happy with this result. Next steps, I think, get that vanilla topping right. That was a little too wet, and I think we have the general framework. We know how much topping now to put, so I can't wait to kind of complete this product next week and get it on the menu before fall.
Last year, we launched $1 Million Baker, a video course designed specifically for bakers ready to start, grow, or level up their bakery business. We built it for the dreamers, the doers, the home bakers who wanted to go pro, and the pros who wanted more. We've watched new bakeries launch across the country and around the world, all fueled by the same passion and determination we had when we started. But recipes and branding are just the beginning. Behind every successful bakery is a mountain of decisions most people never see about equipment, workflows, layout, staffing, logistics, and finances. That's why we've been working hard on season 2, focused entirely on what happens behind the scenes, the stuff no one tells you, but everyone eventually runs into. We didn't want to repeat season 1, we wanted to build on it. If season 1 was about building the product and the brand, season 2 is about making the business work. How do you deal with space constraints? How do you manage employees? What gear is worth the investment and what's not? What systems save time and reduce stress? How do you keep your books from becoming a nightmare? We've made mistakes. We've also made progress, and we want to share both. This isn't a get-rich-quick promise or a cookie-cutter blueprint. It's a hard-won experience packed into honest, practical lessons. I want you to be prepared for the toughest days so you can reach your best ones faster. These are lessons you won't find anywhere else from people who've actually lived them. If you're serious about building a bakery that lasts, this is the education we wish we had.